This is the story of a 3,500-year-old refugee from Aleppo. Hi, my name is Jamie Fraser and I'm the curator for the Levant here at the British Museum. And welcome to my corner. I'm standing in the gallery for the ancient Levant at the British Museum, and I'm standing next to this astonishing statue of an ancient Syrian called Idrimi. This statue is, I think, one of the most interesting things in the entire British Museum's collection. What it is a statue of an ancient Syrian from Aleppo called Idrimi, but it's more than that. It's a statue of a refugee from Aleppo that's 3,500 years old. And we know this because on the front of the statue, literally from his head all the way to Idrimi's feet, is an autobiography of his life. And it's a political autobiography, but not like the turgid political biographies that every politician gets their ghostwriter to pump out at the end of their term. This is written with dynamism and with considerable elan about the life and times of this mysterious guy, Idrimi. If you've ever come in to the Levant Gallery in the British Museum before, you would have seen this statue of Idrimi, but you wouldn't have seen him standing in the gallery like this, because he normally has to be behind a glass case. The surface of the statue is quite fragile, so it has to be protected. But you're looking at him at the moment out of that glass case. It's one of the few times he's ever been outside of a case. And the reason why is we've taken him out just for 2 days to give us a chance to do some laser scanning or digital scanning of the statue. A company called Factum Arte, or their branch Factum Foundation, are doing this for us, and they're coming in and using photogrammetry, a couple of other digital techniques that have a sub-millimetric precision. So by scanning the statue, what we're able to do is generate a 3D model of the statue that we can put online so that anyone can read Idrimi's text and learn about his life, regardless of where they are in the world, as long as you've got an internet connection. So this is his life story. He used to live in Aleppo, the city of his father, but something happened. We don't know what. It translates as a hostile incident. And Idrimi leaves with his family and they flee to the homeland of his mother, which is a place called Imar in northern Iraq on the Euphrates River. There, Idrimi tells us, his 6 older brothers, and remember that, felt that they were fine. But Idrimi knew that he wasn't being treated to the manner that he really should be. So he left Imar, and he left as a political refugee and fled further south. Now, we don't know exactly where he went, but written on the arm, his right arm, is the phrase Ma'at Kanani. And that's one of the earliest phrases we have in any written source for the land of Canaan, a phrase that is much more familiar from the biblical text over 1,000 years later. Somewhere in the Ma'at Kanani, somewhere in perhaps southern Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, Jordan area, Idrimi fell in with a group of other refugees from Aleppo and its neighbouring lands, and they recognised Idrimi, he says, as their leader, and so he became the leader of this band of outcasts. But he wants to go back and take his birthright, take control of the city from where he came. So what do? You, of course, need the favour of the gods. And so Idrimi did what most people did how do you speak with the gods? You have to talk to them in various ways. So Idrimi would let birds go free, cages of pigeons, and he would watch the way they would fly as an augury. And he would also sacrifice lambs and then take out of the carcass the liver and look at the shape of the liver as a way of trying to determine the god's favour. Well, for 6 years, the storm god Teshub wasn't giving Idrimi his favour. But on the 7th year, he said, sure, now's the time. So Idrimi, with his band of outcasts, created a fleet and they sailed up the coast of the eastern Mediterranean and they attacked a city called Alalak, which is in modern-day southern Turkey. And there he became the king. And from there, as the king of Alalak, he actually went and campaigned into Turkey, into ancient Anatolia, against the Hittites, and captured 7 Hittite cities as well. And with all that booty, he brought it back and created a large temple and a large palace. And within the temple, he erected this statue of himself here and wrote down in 104 lines of cuneiform text his life story. what's really cool about this statue, the best thing about it, or at least the second best thing about it, is that the very last two lines of this text are a curse. And they curse anyone who would defile the statue, or anyone who, and this is probably more important, who would actually change the text. Because it was very common in the ancient world for people to take the names of someone and then put their own name in place. So the curse itself makes this kind of unusual. But that's not the best thing. The best thing about this is that written on the side, all the way down his right cheek here, almost like it's coming out of his mouth. Think like a speech bubble in a cartoon. That's not a curse, that's a blessing. And it's a blessing upon Idrimi himself. But what it's saying is that anyone who reads this statue and learns of the life of Idrimi is blessing Idrimi and blessing him for perpetuity. I think by taking him out of the case, sitting him here on the gallery floor and doing this very high precision scan, we're increasing the number of people who can learn from Idrimi's life by a factor of millions and millions that Idrimi could never have even thought about. And that, I think, is really what he was hoping for with this blessing all along.